Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live streaming some of my all-time favorite video games right here on Friday, August 31st from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Time, so I hope you'll join me for that. We've got a ton going on here at Spirit Blade Productions and Christian Geek Central, including our in-depth Bible study for geeks, movie, game, and other entertainment reviews or commentary, live streams, Christian geek news, original audio dramas, and tons more. And on top of all that, you can become a Spirit Blade Insider with an influential voice and get access to exclusive content and rewards. It's your involvement as a patron that will keep all of this going and growing, so I want to thank you for your consideration in that. For more information, please check out our Patreon page through the link below at patreon.com/spiritbladeproductions. Thanks for listening. Well, hi, Mrs. Lomax, if that's how you pronounce that. Screen names are always tricky for me. Retro Rewind podcast viewer here, she says, coming over from Twitch. Woohoo! Well, thank you. And thank you, Francisco. We are in the final hour of my stream here. I'm just starting up the final game of the night. And I've been playing games in my backlog to finish them out in preparation for the new games that are coming our way, announced at E3 2018. Yeah, Francisco, you did miss some OG's moments. There's those scary robot dogs in Wolfenstein. They get me every time. And the first one, I didn't even know that I had said, "Oh, geez." Rugged Warrior pointed it out to me. He was like, "Oh, there it is. Francisco missed it." Didn't even remember it coming out of my mouth. Most of the time, I don't think I'm aware of it. I don't know if there'll be any of those here. This is kind of a nice, groovy game for me most of the time. Really enjoy it, though. This is like Rugged Warrior, you were saying that like stealth gameplay, it gets boring for you, and this is, I can see how maybe this stealth gameplay might get boring for somebody, because it's different for me. It's, when it's not first person, it doesn't feel as intense for me. I feel more aware of my surroundings, in third person. And so when I'm doing stealth here, I feel less like I'm protecting myself and more like I'm just I'm in command of the situation, I'm the one that's in control and in the position of power in the environment, where I don't feel like that half the time in Wolfenstein. Well, thanks for coming by, Mrs. Lomax. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you stopping by. Francisco says, "LOL, you need a counter going, like an OG's counter." Yeah, that would be the kind of thing, like if I ever get someone to kind of sit in the quote-unquote producer role, if I ever had someone here in my office that could kind of do stuff like that behind the scenes, that would be fun. There's a lot of fun ideas I'm sure I could cook up if I had like a second person behind the scenes for all these streams. Alright, let's go here. Oh, I gotta change the title. Thank you, thank you. There we go. Rugged Warrior says, "Is AC Origins a real prequel, even with the future storylines in the AC games?" No, because when I've dug into kind of like the files in the real world in this game, there are references to characters and events from previous Assassin's Creed games. So when you're in the present day, quote unquote, sections of this game, it is further along in the present-day timeline than previous Assassin's Creed games, even though this one, I think, is maybe the furthest back the series has ever gone. I'm not sure about that. Well, yes, it is, because it's supposed to be about the birth of the Brotherhood of Assassins. So I think it's an origin story in that sense, telling the birth of the Assassin Brotherhood. What's weird is that the historical, the main setting, the main historical setting that you're playing in Assassin's Creed Odyssey takes place before this game. So there is going to be absolutely no Brotherhood of Assassins. You are not going to be an assassin, even though you will have the option to be sneaky and stabby and have some assassin gameplay. It's still more, they've said, is much more about just kind of like the normal combat type focus. Or at least, I don't know if they've come out and said that, but that's certainly been the impression that I've gotten from the material I've seen. And what I've heard, like the guys at Game Informer say, is like, yeah, you can totally still do stealth gameplay, but the options for it are just a little more buried in the control scheme compared to Assassin's Creed Origins.
Hey, you! Stop!
Oops, that's not what I meant. Oh, this weapon set I got, this sword and shield, is like it was like a free DLC side quest update type thing, where these are weapons delivered from a Final Fantasy character. The little side quest was called like a gift from the gods, and it was some Final Fantasy character delivering these weapons.
I have extra honey, by the way. The hive's been...
Are you Theodorus's men?
Yes. And who are you?
He is the C1. I come on his behalf. He'll be joining us shortly with instructions.
Good. The soldiers are reeling, but it won't be long before reinforcements arrive. Come.
I usually just fire through these cutscenes. I have just no interest in the story. Well, at least not like in the side. Like, there's a core story that has like a father-son element, but most of these cutscenes are just about quests that lead to quests that lead to quests that lead to quests that lead to what he actually wants to do in the game that's relevant to the main story, So I'm just like, usually I'm listening to a podcast while I play this game, and I don't actually skip these scenes. You do have the option of like, see, I can pull up the option to skip the cutscene. And so usually I don't do that. Usually I'm kind of multitasking, listening to a podcast and reading the subtitles as I go along, but sometimes I don't even do that,
Just, here's why I am who I am. I need you, Mike.
Barbells and Joystick says, I heard a rumor that AC Origins may tell the story of the Templar origins. That would be cool, and it might even kind of make sense for them to be, because usually the Assassin's Creed games kind of like think of, they show... Oh, am I supposed to be fighting right now? Like the assassins are the good guys that are like sticking it to the man, sticking it to the status quo. And so it makes sense that the ultimate status quo enemy, the Templars, would be established before them, so that there's a problem that the assassins need to come into existence to solve. So I can see that. What's more interesting to me is that the developers have said in Assassin's Creed Odyssey there will be, I think, multiple artifacts from the first civilization, which in the lore of the game is, the concept is that the legends that we have of gods and stuff like that are basically this alien race, and that their activities here on the Earth even ultimately account for the miracles of Jesus. Like, Jesus accomplished his miracles by the use of some alien cape that was left behind by the aliens. Now that is buried away in a collectible item that you can pick up. It's a collectible type side quest. It's not part of the main story or a main cutscene. It's tucked away in a little collectible kind of side quest that you can optionally take on in a previous Assassin's Creed game, but there it is right there, you know. Oh, you know what? There is something in the cutscene of the first Assassin's Creed game that basically the bad guy is saying that this mere carpenter in Nazareth was able to accomplish all these things because of this orb that he has, but I think you can watch that, if I remember correctly, you can watch that scene and say to yourself, well, maybe that's just his claim or whatever, it's not necessarily the truth, but in a later Assassin's Creed game, this little collectible kind of like journal entry, or, you know, what's the word? It's like a codex entry. Like, this is the official lore of the world. It was much more explicit that, yep, Jesus did miracles because of these aliens. Not because anything he said was true. Francisco Ruiz says, Christy says that the horse animation looks really good. That is something she notices in movies and games a lot. Yeah, I think that's one thing that Ubisoft just does well, is they just make their worlds well. I mean, their water looks great, you know. I mean, their sound effects for, like, your footsteps and your, you know, I just like chilling and moving around in their worlds, whether it's Far Cry or Assassin's Creed or Ghost Recon Wildlands or whatever, you know. I just like moving around in their worlds. Oh, I'm a little nervous here. I just saw all these question marks of, like, territories I haven't been to yet, and I have to make sure I'm not in a territory that's too high for my level. 24 to 29. Okay, I'm fine. Francisco Ruiz says, where the Templar originated in Greece, I thought it was in the Crusades. Sorry, I'm looking ahead already to barbells and joysticks thing. That's... Yeah, I think probably what's going on in the lore, I think they were probably called Templars maybe in the Crusades, but what I'm thinking will probably be the case is that they existed in some form prior to that, maybe not called Templars. Like, I haven't played this game all the way through. I'm even wondering if the villains in this one are going to be kind of like a precursor that will eventually become the Templars, you know. Barbells and Joysticks asks, which AC game had that collectible? I'm sorry, I don't remember. I might have that in my... I think I did like a screen capture or some video capture while I was reading that, just in a private play session by myself, you know. So I probably could figure it out away from this live stream right now. I'll try to remember to look into that, and maybe when I shoot you an email about the exercise stuff, I can mention that. Dale White asks, is Origins your favorite of the Assassin's Creed games? Yeah, it is. And it's very different from the other Assassin's Creed games, you know? It's... like, it doesn't feel like those games in many respects. Of the games that do feel like the classical Assassin's Creed games, my favorite is probably somewhere in the Ezio trilogy, which would be Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Assassin's Creed Revelations. Those are the three games, I think, that follow the story of Ezio. So I liked that trilogy. I liked the first one, too. I did not like Assassin's Creed 3. That was the first one in the series that I didn't finish. I got halfway through it, and I'm like, I'm done. But this one, I love it because it's got the open world, and if you build your character with assassination as a priority, you can keep doing the cool, stealthy assassination gameplay. Sorry, lady. But it's also doesn't have annoying timed missions, or missions that you fail instantly if you're spotted by the enemy. And all the Assassin's Creed games that I played prior to this one had those kinds of annoying missions where one misstep within these limited, narrow parameters that they set for you in the mission at hand, one misstep, insta-fail, and you have to at least go back to the last checkpoint, if not start the whole thing over again. And I just don't have patience for that. I just get frustrated. I hate that kind of fail and repeat gameplay, you know. Where this game, as is the case with like the open world activities in like Far Cry, you're encouraged to be sneaky because it will give you an advantage. You can thin out the ranks in like an outpost or something. But if you're spotted, then it just means that more enemies are going to be kind of alerted and actively trying to attack you at once. It doesn't mean you instantly fail. Barbells and Joystick says the villains in Assassin's Creed Origins are called the Order, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you might be right. And then he adds, I'd put Assassin's Creed Origins up there really high, but the Ezio trilogy is hard to beat. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it depends, I think, on what you come to these games for. I will say that the sense of danger is greater for me in the prior Assassin's Creed games, and because of that, those sneak up behind them and insta-kill with the hidden blade is more satisfying, you know, because they're a threat if they spot you, and so to get them before they spot you is more satisfying to me in those games. Whereas this one, you know, I can level grind. I can go to all kinds of lower level areas and just keep building myself up and take my time, kind of like, you know, in Monster Hunter World, so that if I am spotted, it's not that big of a deal, you know. So this is a much more casual experience. But, well, don't call me a slowpoke, girl. I'm talking to some people. But I think that you can still potentially have that kind of dangerous gameplay experience if you don't go and do everything you possibly can in the game. If you do maybe a little bit more of a beeline through the main campaign. There's so much to do in this game. It's kind of crazy. Gratal says the assassins was Kangs.
Where did you learn to climb like that? That looks like...
Oh my gosh. Rugged Warrior says one of the Witcher games you can find the body of an assassin who missed the hat stack. That sounds familiar to me. I might have gotten far enough into whichever Witcher game that was. Yes, I found that. Barbells and Joystick said it's in The Witcher 2. Okay. Francisco, I know you're asking Rugged Warrior, but The Witcher is not Ubisoft. That's CD Projekt Red. So yeah, they're just having fun with each other.
Your mother and father will look after.
And I would say at this point both of those are taking inspiration from each other.
Yes.
The Witcher's maybe taking inspiration from a more diverse set of games, but this game, I think, well, in fact, I know it's taken some things from The Witcher because
Nothing bad will ever happen to
the devs were asked if they took inspiration from some things from The Witcher, and they were just up front, yeah, oh yeah. Boy, I'm glad for these quest markers since I'm just ignoring all the talking. That's one thing, man, that I really hope Dragon Quest XI has. I'm really looking forward to that game. But, man, I really hope they have quest markers, because when I set a game down, I might not pick it up again for a few days, and by the time I get back to it, I'm like, okay, what was I doing? What was I supposed to be going to next? You know? Barbells and Joystick says, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is great. I actually started that one, and I'm not going to dispute your claim at all, but I think that I had started just kind of... You know how when you're eating a food and it's good, it's a good type of food, some kind of dessert or something, but then you eat it enough that there's some little portion of the flavor, some flavor within the combination of flavors that you pick out, and suddenly all you can taste is that flavor, or some sound in something that's in the background, and suddenly that sound stands out. That's all you can hear is that sound in the background of whatever environment you're in. You ever had that experience? I think that's what happened to me with Black Flag. I was Because, man, I got into the Assassin's Creed games, and I like fell in love hard. I was just like buying them one after the other, and they were really cheap, used. So I was like, just like I would get halfway through one, and I would order the next one, so it would be ready to go, like as soon as the credits roll on the one before it, you know. And so I was having a really good stretch of Assassin's Creed gaming. Oh man, that was just a great season of gaming for me. But something hit when I got to Assassin's Creed 3. There was certain types of little missions. It was those kind of those timed or stealth or whatever it is that had insta-fail conditions. And so suddenly those were really grating on me. And so when I got to Black Flag, as cool as it was, and as much as it kind of moved things forward, it still had those elements, and I just kind of hit a point where I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this kind of gameplay. You know, I still have it. I bought it for the PS4, so I even have like kind of like the nice remastered or whatever version, or just, you know, the high res, as good as it can look on consoles version. I'm not going to get rid of it because there's a chance I'll come back to it someday, but I can't imagine when that day would be, as much as I'm enjoying Origins right now. Let's see here. Rugged Warrior says, did you hear that the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer at Xbox E3 conference had download codes for The Witcher 3 hidden in it? Holy crap. Oh man, what a neat company in so many respects. Interesting. Alright, I need to use my bird. I've been doing all this sneaking, and it's been foolish sneaking, because I haven't used my bird. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Get the ledger from Kennett's Villa. Okay, so I'm not here to kill everybody necessarily. Just need that ledger. Okay. Oh, it's cool. I didn't know you could spot me. Why don't you come down here and I'll kill you, okay? Yep, just right here. Right here's good. Yep, that's good. Okay. Now, where's that yellow diamond? Oh, let's get this guy over here too.
Hey, what?
Good. Oh, there's the yellow diamond. Okay. So... Oh, Barbos and Joysticks says, yeah, I can see that. I'm really glad Ubisoft got rid of the 100% sync requirements for each mission. Totally, dude. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was such a great move for them, and I think more games should go in this direction, where they made the 100% sync stuff optional. Like, if you want to go for, like, the equivalent of a trophy or an achievement that's built into the game already, as opposed to being something that's specific to the console that it's on or whatever. You know, have challenging gameplay tied to some kind of optional bragging rights reward built into the game. But as far as progression through the story and progression through the world, I'm like, make that as easy as possible. And then hopefully you can get the best of both worlds, you know? Alright, I'm not seeing an entry here. Oh man, I'm getting a second wind, guys. I gotta be honest, when I started this stream, I was like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. It's been a week. But then about, I don't know, an hour and a half ago, something kicked in. I think it was around Monster Hunter World, around that time. I was like, I love video games. They're so great. Especially the ones I play. Oof, this guy's a big bruiser. I definitely want to insta-kill him. These guys with shields are a big enough pain. But when they're big bruisers like that... Let's see here. Francisco Reeves asks, do you ever find yourself whistling the tune that Daryl Hannah's character whistles in Kill Bill? I don't remember what tune that is. That's weird. Did I, somehow accidentally sign out of chat? On my version of the chat window, it says, sign into chat. Alright, so I got the thing.
Shadia wrote this. She has the ledger. And I sent her back to her mother.
Dun 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 dun.
Before the soldiers get to her.
That sounds pretty urgent.
Oh, Shadia. What have you done, little one? You cannot play games with the crocodile.
Don't do it. Don't play those games with the crocodile. Friends, let's see. Dear Heart, heart, heart. Oh, that's weird. Did you intend to type something else and it came out heart, heart, heart? I love you too, man. BRB. Be right back. Okay. It's a tricky world we live in, all these acronyms.
Have you seen Hanut? Is she here?
The soldiers just came and took her to the lighthouse. Young Shadia too. Hanat argued with them, but they would not listen. Something is wrong, isn't it? This has never happened before.
Oh, Francisco says, I was just loving how you were saying you love video games. Okay, gotcha.
Hanut and Shadia are at the lighthouse.
I was trying to think of what song do I know? It's a heart, heart, love, love. It's like there's an answer. This is like it's like a riddle. Rescue the Canute at the lighthouse. Okay, let's see what kind of mission this is, because this would be the kind of mission that in another Ubisoft game could be really annoying, you know, like a protection quest. That's another example. You know, it's like, don't let this NPC die. What? I'm just passing through here. NPCs that are really stupid, put themselves in harm's way, and have one health point, you know? This is gonna be tricky, I think. So, Francisco, you were streaming before this. What were you playing a game, or were you recording a podcast? What was the content of your stream? Also, someone mentioned that you were coming from Twitch, and I'm thinking of going back to Twitch at some point. I'm not sure. I'd heard something from kind of an established YouTuber type that, like, the algorithms from YouTube have changed recently so that it's harder to discover streams by smaller creators, and so if that's true, I suppose I should go back to Twitch. I like YouTube just because I feel like it's more accessible to people. I think more people feel like there are fewer barriers to get into the chat, for example, but maybe that's changed. I don't know. Have you ever tried streaming on Twitch? Do you have any opinions on that? We can talk about that on Monday. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I'm just curious about I asked you like a dozen questions there. You can just tell me what you were doing in your stream if you want. Oops. Okay. I didn't mean to push that button, but great. You come over here, I'll stab you. Start thinning out the ranks. It's really convenient how there's a whistle button that if you're in a hiding spot, you whistle, they will come to you. It's like you control their mind, and they have no choice but to saunter to their doom. But you gotta be close enough. And I'm level 33, so I should be able to take this guy in one hit. If your hidden blade isn't upgraded enough, then sometimes you'll just get a prompt to do a sneak attack instead of it being a one-hit kill. So in that way, you know, this can fail to feel like an Assassin's Creed game if you don't, spend the time keeping your hidden blade upgraded. Oh, Francisco, that's right. You said be right back, and I forgot that you'd left. I was not YouTube bashing. You mentioned, or somebody that came over from your stream mentioned that you were on Twitch, so I was just asking your thoughts on Twitch because I'd heard from an established YouTuber that Twitch, they're moving back to Twitch for live streaming because the algorithms that have changed recently in YouTube make it harder to discover smaller channels. And the reason I've been on YouTube is because, one, I've enjoyed generally my viewing experience of streaming content on YouTube more. I feel like the quality has been better in my experience, and then also because it's easier for people to like get into the chat room and stuff, and than on Twitch. But I think it was Truth Seeker 1995 said to stick with YouTube. So I mean that would definitely be easier. So I haven't made any decision yet. It's just something I'm going to look into some more. And if I did move to YouTube, I would really try to mitigate the downsides as much as I could for people that are more comfortable with YouTube. So we'll see. But I appreciate your feedback on that.
This area is off limits.
These guys with the hoods, man, I definitely want to take them out with these assassination kills if I can, because in open combat, they just dodge and jump around. They're really hard to get a beat on. And you know, the stealth gameplay in this, it's not really hard for the most part. This is a chill experience, but it still feels cool, you know? And I don't, if you haven't heard me say this elsewhere before, I feel like I've said it a ton, so I apologize for those who've heard me say it many times. I don't really play games for their challenge, for the actual challenge. I play them sometimes for the illusion of challenge, where it's like this intense experience, but, you know, I can feel that even when I'm not close to death. Like I mentioned not long ago playing Wolfenstein. I was never really close to dying in that game, but it's just intense. The music, the enemy types, the behavior of the enemies, all these these design elements combine to make me feel plenty of intensity. Yeah, Truth Seeker 1995 says, I already have a YouTube account. And I feel like, maybe people that are specifically into hardcore gaming and already into like the streaming scene, maybe, I don't know what the stats are on like, but I would think that even in that crowd, they've got a YouTube account. You know, everybody's got some kind of Google account, you know, and so it's just a lot easier to jump into a YouTube chat. And I remember a while back when I was streaming on Twitch, there was somebody that was part of the Christian Geek Central community that I think was interested in watching me stream, but outside of Christian Geek Central wasn't really into the streaming scene, you know. and they just found it very frustrating and difficult to kind of get logged into the chat, you know. So yeah, that's definitely the feeling that I have, and I would need to really see clearly how the benefits of Twitch would outweigh, got something in my teeth, would outweigh that downside, because that's, in my mind, that's a significant downside. Rugged Warrior says, when I saw Incredibles 2 last weekend, there were some huge Incredibles fans who were cheering the entire movie, which made it an interesting experience. So when you say interesting, that doesn't imply necessarily positive or negative to me. Tell me about that. Did you find that? I would find that really irritating, because it would be interfering with the sounds of the movie and therefore interfering with my ability to take in what the filmmakers intended, you know. But at the same time, I can see how, especially if you've seen a movie once already, or even in a movie you haven't seen, you know, there are times when a... Oh man, this is sad. There are times when I can see how that would be cool, even seeing a movie for the first time. Barbells and Joystick says, your stream is the only stream that I watch. Okay. So, I mean, that would be an example, I guess. Okay, Francisco, thank you. For those curious about the Kill Bill song, the whistling song is actually the main soundtrack of an old 1969 British horror film, Twisted Nerve, composed by the talented Bernard Herrmann. Interesting. Oh, Francisco, I can't remember if you were around when I asked this before, but what were you streaming? Were you recording a podcast or playing a video game, or what was the content of your stream that you came from before you came back here? Okay, what's going on? We loading into something special? I'm not used to seeing load screens of any kind in this game.
It is over. The crocodile has won. In measure, lost. My daughter. My Shadia. He has taken everything from us.
He will pay for this. And all those who serve him.
None of that will bring Shadia back.
No. But at least you'll have the comfort of revenge. We both will.
The comfort of revenge, baby!
I will do anything I can to help you, brother.
Has he not been able to tell you anything?
Only that there were other men with the soldiers. Large, imposing warriors. One red hair.
Bandits? Soldiers?
I believe they were gladiators from the arena in Crocodilopolis.
Oh, now the sleepies are coming back to me. That second wind. I knew it couldn't last forever.
I will find
Got about 22 minutes left, though.
He will die.
I can't believe, speaking of getting tired during streams, like I am now closer to the upcoming Extra Life marathon than I am looking back at the last one. Oh, you guys are loving on my content. Thank you so much. That only applies if you're okay with the word crap, though, Barbells and Joysticks. He says, I enjoy the fact that Pater's a Christian and uses his love of gaming to spread God's message. Also, clean content, no language from the streamer. Except crap. Crap is my favorite. What the crap? What's this crap? Crappity crapper. was on a I've told the story about how I met my wife as part of a tour of this ministry organization where it's like a kind of singing performance group. You get together for a 1-week rehearsal camp, and then you go off on your tour to wherever it is. And the summer before I met my wife, I had been on a tour with this group. It was my first time with them. And I found out when we got to the rehearsal camp, you weren't allowed to use the word crap while you were with this organization. I didn't know what I was going to do. I hesitated a lot before speaking. All right, let's see. Am I still in the relatively safe zone? Okay, 24 to 29. Francisco says, "Oh no, Pater has eaten too much revenge, a comfort food best served cold." Or is it, was it Dargo on Farscape that once said, "Revenge is a dish best served immediately"? Let's see here. Where am I? What am I doing? Oh, I need to scale one of these things here. Let's go to there. Let's go to that place. My horse. Barbells and joysticks, you've never noticed me saying crap? Well, maybe the OG's counter is higher than oh crap. I don't know. It depends on how many scary games I've played. Or are you being sarcastic? I feel like I say it a lot. Maybe I don't as much as I think. You know what? Maybe I say it more like in regular physical proximity conversation than I do in my content. I don't know. That is possible. Oh, and Mother Trucker. I do say Mother Trucker. With no offense intended for any truckers who are also mothers. I have great respect. Man, however you gotta make a living and support those kids. In fact, if you can somehow show me like a picture of your license, I should just put an invitation out there. If you show me a picture of your trucking license, and it shows that at least you are female, you don't even have to prove you're your mother, I'll send you a free audio drama download so you have something to listen to while you're away from those kids trucking, mother. Oh, Barbells and Joysticks, you are being sarcastic. Okay, so I do say it as much as I think I do. I don't even know where I'm going. I'm trying to read chat and drive my horse, or ride, whatever you call it, ride my horse at the same time. I'm running over people, breaking their stuff. Hey! This is a nice horse, pretty fast. Might even be faster than the one I have. Alright, now I'm getting in, zeroing in on my target.
This evil boy has profaned the god.
Barbells and Joysticks says, my mom drives a school bus, so is she a mother busser? I suppose. Wouldn't that also apply to a mother who, like, clears tables at restaurants but doesn't actually bring the food or take orders? I don't know. These are the things that I think we need to ponder. Just some key issues to think about. Interact. Done. Climb the thing. True Seeker 1995. Pater, your laugh reminds me of Big Man Tyrone. Now I'm gonna have to like find a YouTube clip of this Big Man Tyrone of yours. Alrighty. Now where? I don't want to do a quest right now. I want to find treasure. Let's go find treasure. Dive! Man, I don't know if you guys have palm trees where you're from. I can imagine having some cushion landing in like a stack of loose hay. But like a stack of loose branches from a palm tree? That would be so painful, and you'd get cuts. I mean, on our palm trees in Arizona, on the branch itself, they're a little, I mean, you probably can't see it up close here. I don't know if they've included it in the design. Maybe it's a different kind of palm tree too. But there are little thorns on the actual branch. So that just didn't seem like a good idea at all. Was that Big Man Tyrone? Did I just do him just then? Francisco Ruiz asks, "Is the map in this based on a real place?" Yeah, this is Egypt. In a, they even give the time period too, and although the Assassin's Creed games super duper play fast and loose with history, and I think they especially enjoy playing fast and loose when it comes to religious history, biblical history, the history of the life of Christ, as I've already touched on in this stream. When they're building their worlds, they reportedly give great attention to detail in recreating as best they can the environments historically as they would have been. And I believe that I'm willing to believe that because of just the detail that they put into their game worlds. And they even put into this game I want to say it's like it's called the Discovery Tour mode, where you can load up this game, and it's in a totally different mode where there's no combat gameplay, and there's no like stores, like none of the mechanics of the game are really present, but the world is all there, and it's completely open for you to explore, and there are little modules that you can visit all over the place where you go and you interact with the module, and then a voiceover starts of some guy who sounds straight out of the Discovery Channel. You know how they have those narrators that say, "In the war with Greece and AD blah blah blah," or whatever, they got some guy who's done tons of narrations so that you can go and in this virtual world learn about the history of all these locations and stuff. And so it's got they're really shooting for like some legit educational value for the game. So Francisco says, "Oh wow, LOL, you mean those aliens didn't historically help Jesus?" Shocked, I say. Where am I going? This ways? This ways. Here we go. Oh, Francisco, did I miss it? Did you ever put in the chat what you were doing on your stream? If you were, I'm just passing through. If you were streaming a game or doing your podcast or what? Just curious. If anyone here is not familiar with Francisco Ruiz, he hosts the Retro Rewind podcast, which is part of the Christian Geek Central network, and It's cool stuff. I've been on the show... Has it been 3 times? Let's see, we did Predator once, Last Action Hero, and Legend. So yeah, 3 times. And it's been a blast every time. And I don't know if they do it every show. Francisco, you can speak to this. But I think they got a bonus section for their patrons on at least some of the episodes of the podcast that has to do with discussing like spiritual themes from the movies from a Christian worldview, which is cool. I mean, obviously, I think it's cool anyway.
Silence, boy! You will not...
Wait a minute, I'm lost again. I started talking. Good gravy. Oh, wait, so I guess I do have to go in here. Okay, let's just do this then. Now I'll sneak. Nobody saw that, right? Oh, hey! You guys haven't seen any of the combat yet anyway. Okay, so I gotta get behind this dude. Alright. Oh, you did type that. That you were streaming Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I'm trying to beat every game on the SNES Mini, and that is the 7th game I'm doing. I saw that. I read that text earlier, and I thought it was Rugged Warrior. I don't know. I didn't see your name next to it. Sorry. Sorry. Well, that's cool, man. Francisco Ruiz says, thank you, Peter. Yeah, 3 times. Check us in the mail. Wink. Yep, every episode for the past 30, we do a movie theology bonus talk. That's cool. Alright. What am I doing here? I'm here for treasure. Treasure you can't measure. That always gives me pleasure. Alright, about 8 minutes left, guys. Then I'm gonna call it a night. Alright, let's see here. Last week was, last week. Not the week that I just finished, but the week before. That was a cool week with E3 and stuff. It was also a long week. We had company in town at the same time. Holly's parents and one of the cousins on that side of the family were out here visiting. So a packed week with guests in our house the whole time. And then we had a weekend where we went away for a night at like a hotel that has like a water park built into it. So that was kind of like a big family weekend thing. And then I missed some of work on Monday because of that. In fact, pretty much all my work on Monday. And so I was crunched a little bit to get the usual content done for the week. So it's been a bit of a stretch. Even though this week was far less intense than last week, it was still not a normal week. And so I'm like, I'm ready for the weekend. Did I get all the treasure here? Let me check the map, Pater. Oh yeah, I did. It's checked. Okay. Great. Well, that's great news. Let's go get treasure here now. I don't know why I'm looking over there. I should be looking there. That's my problem with streaming technique. You should look at your audience is there in the camera, not over there where the chat words are. But that's where I see your pictures. Francisco Ruiz asked, do we get an audio journal entry of you going down a water slide? He's referring to the audio journal entries that I send out monthly exclusively to Spirit Blade Insiders, those are folks that are supporting me at $5 a month currently through PayPal, and that's going to shift into multiple tiers, so it won't just be the $5 tier. Well, we're going to switch to Patreon, but anyway. No. And I don't have anything that's like waterproof enough that I would trust to bring. And I didn't go down a water slide this time anyway. I've been to that park a couple times before. My boys wanted me to go down the water slide, but I mean, they weren't that. If they would have pushed a little harder, maybe I would have, but they weren't that emphatic about it. So I was just tired, not in the mood for any excitement.
It is not for you.
Where's the treasure? Right there. Gonna get that treasure.
Prosperity for all? There is no grain. They have burned our farms and driven us out. Where will we get our food? We know what brings prosperity.
I'm hiding. You can't see me. Oh, jeez. These guys dodge pretty well. And then the camera doesn't whip around fast enough for me to keep track of where they're at. There we go. Well, that wasn't too bad. They've been a much bigger pain in the past than they were just then. Ooh, what does this sign say? On the subject of insider stuff and Patreon stuff, Francisco, I'm looking forward to chatting with you on Monday. I've got some ideas, got some thoughts I want to bounce off you and kind of hear about your experiences with Patreon as well, so that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
There you are.
Oh! Rugged Warrior says, did that guy have a French accent in Egypt? Yeah, I don't want to be too quick to judge. I generally avoid even just playing around and being silly doing accents because I don't trust myself to do them well enough. But yeah, I think the accents are not always the best in these games. And part of that's probably just because, you know, to their credit, they got to do a ton of voice work done in these things. There we go. Very good. Now where are we gonna go? Uh-oh. Getting loopy. Getting late. Getting loopy. Loopy late. Lapey. Oh man. Let's go to the blacksmith. Sometimes, like, if I just had time, if I had time to burn, time to kill, I think I would enjoy doing, like, an alternate YouTube channel that was not Christian Geek Central, that was not part of kind of like my mission statement with all of that. And I would just be a weird YouTube personality. Because I really have a bizarre sense of humor that I don't cut loose with because it's counter to mission at times for what I want to do with Christian Geek Central. But I would love, if I had the time, to do a separate YouTube channel where it's just weird, bizarre content from Pater. I have so much strangeness to share with the world. My wife would say, yeah, it's better that you don't. Francisco, you've heard that promo a few times, have you? He says, that feels good. That feels fun. Why am I here? I'm buying crafting materials. Here we go. I want it all. All right. It's 10 o'clock. I'm calling it. I clearly need sleep and possibly some form of medication. But I so appreciate you guys, you know. Yeah, I think I say this at the end of... I've said this at the end of several streams, but you know, you never know what you're going to get. You never know how the internet's going to treat you when you get on for a live stream and stuff, and y'all just treat me so well, and I really appreciate that. And so I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I'll look forward to the next time that we get a chance to do this. All right. Sleep well, and have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Oh, jeez! Oh, jeez!
Mission in Section F.
What the crap? Oh, my gosh! Super intimidating. Oh, jeez! I didn't know. I didn't know that was going to bother you so much. It's because I killed your boyfriend, huh? I got your skin too now. I don't feel right. Gotta be reflexible. Oh, jeez! I'm lacking some serious brain functionality.